ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुः श्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। प्रतिबोध विदितं मतं अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यं विद्यया अमृतम् अश्नुते। Knowledge is strength and ignorance is weakness. In this particular mantra that which we saw yesterday, it says Atmana Vindate Viryam. The strength can be gained only by the self, in the self, for the self. Any other kind of dependency becomes a weakness. Wherever we are depending, there is a sense of attachment. Its presence or absence can create fluctuations, and that creates likes and dislikes, and those likes and dislikes constantly torment us from within. Therefore, probably Adi Shankaracharya ji wrote, Kaupinavantaha khalu bhagyavantaha. The one who has nothing else to lose. Kaupina, wearing nothing but a loincloth, has got nothing to lose. There is no pressure, no tension, no anxiety from within or from outside. Atmana Vindate Viryam. The strength is by that self, for that self. In the field of bhakti, they say that I am supported by Bhagavan. The only support is Bhagavan and none other. Nothing else. The subtler and an ultimate form of that very idea or aspect is when that self is seen as nothing but that Paramatma, and that Paramatma is seen nothing else other than that self. The same concept. The strength is only when we are established in the self. Anywhere else that I am invested in will become, or already is, the very cause of my unnecessary state of disturbances. I may attribute it with a loud voice on something else. That my misery, you are the cause of my misery, you are the cause of my frustration. Whether it is people, whether it is things, whether it is environment, we have only learnt and become masters of blame games. It is just because the antakarana is not rooted in its own self, we are the cause for our own misery. When that independence is ascertained, that I am not depending on anything else, there is an absolute state of freedom. Freedom is called swatantra. And paradhinata is called paratanta. And the Upanishad says it so beautifully. It says, Atmavasham, Atmatantram, hi sarva sukhasya karanam. Paratantram hi sarva dukkhasya karanam. Dukhi ho. Stop blaming the world outside. The trigger may be looking like coming from outside, but the actual substance of all the limitations and misery born of those limitations is only from within. Atmana vindate viryam. Once that freedom, that independence is gained, there is a sanctuary of peace within. Unshakable sanctuary of peace. Abiding in it, in that peace within, what one comes to experience is vidyaya amrutam ashnute. Jnanat evatu kaivalyam. Natu anyatha. Immortality, the unstoppable, constant flow of fountain of bliss, can be ascertained only in Vidya Jnanam. Shruti is very clear. It doesn't say Dhyanat evatu kaivalyam, Karmana evatu kaivalyam, Bhaktya evatu kaivalyam. Jnanat evatu kaivalyam. That kevala pada and abiding in it, knowing that I am the very self which is the substratum of this entire creation. Therefore, in the earlier Upanishad, when we said, Yatra na tato vijugupsate, there is no vijugupsa. There is no hatred or attachment towards anything. And people again complain. Then what is the difference between a piece of wood or a furniture and me then? Who sits, how heavy that person sits, how awkwardly they sit, how comfortably they sit. Do you think it makes a difference to the furniture? Then this state also seems to be similar. That there is absolutely no difference between a vegetative state or a furniture state or me. Usually when I feel alive, when there is some kind of a action-reaction. That is when I feel alive. So you say alive and kicking. We have not actually learnt how to even enjoy life. Even in the worldly sense, whether it is a cup of coffee, whether it is a full good plate of meal or a nice sleep, we don't enjoy it. The trouble is that we are either pulled into anxiety of the future, or regrets of the past, or the confusion of the present. Even at that moment when the enjoyment can be enjoyed, we are not present there 100%. We are dragged away into all different directions. It has never been complete. A man of realization is that individual who, basking in their own self, truly enjoys what is in front of them. Completely, thoroughly. While drinking a cup of coffee, where is our mind? Just like with the japamala, our mind is not here. Even with the cup of coffee, our mind is not here. It's already planning. It's already running into the future. Why cup of a coffee? Even sitting here right now in satsanga, mind must be, most probably would have been occupied by what next after this satsanga. घर जाते ही एक और कप टी, गर्मा गर्म इडली या पूरी, साथ में चटनी के लिए कुछ है कि नहीं? Or after this I have to go to job. Job में what are the things, sequence of things already not here. Never truly enjoyed even the present moment. For the one that is basking in their own true nature, every moment becomes a celebration. Pratibodha viditam matam. Every moment of movement is not a fearful existence. Just like a small child would not like to finish up all his candies. Looking at the stockpile of his candies, Priya Moda, once in a while, Pramoda. With the fear that they might finish and lose everything. Pratibodha viditam, it is not the movement that is important. It is that on which that movement is happening, that is the focal point. And that is my true nature. If this much is understood, then the Rishi of this Upanishad takes it to the next point. What is the purpose of a human life? Many of us come to a conclusion: fulfilling my responsibilities is the purpose of my life. Finding the passions and living my passions is the purpose of my life. Having some vision, having few goals and trying to accomplish it is the purpose of my life. We have 4 Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama. Very heavily engaged in the first 3, at least the middle 2. Artha and Kama. Dharma, whenever we get to remember it. Moksha, never ever ever. The Shastra, the Shruti has been very clear. There has been no ambiguity about it. That the purpose of life is live life in complete dharma, fulfilling your artha and kama so that your internal, meaning the antakarana, is cleared enough so that you can focus on the chaturtha purushartha, which is moksha purushartha. The purpose of human life is that and that alone. How do you reach there? Allow that mind intelligently to perform in the field of karma so that the existing vasanas are completely purged, sublimated, the word that Gurudev uses often. They are not suppressed, they are not indulged, they are sublimated. They are allowed as a one-side channel where it goes out, never to come back to disturb. We don't have to create a new set of patterns of vasana. That which is already existing, that which is already unfolding as prarabdha, just to cater to that is more than sufficient. Sometimes you may have to learn few new skills to cater to that prarabdha. That's about it. But then we are so busy. When you see a sparrow or a hummingbird, have you seen a hummingbird? It flaps its wings about 80-90 times a second. Constantly. It flies but never goes higher. Sparrow is of the same category. Maybe a crane or an owl. Flips, glides, again starts flipping, again glides. The eagle, once it reaches to a certain height, it just stays. All that it has to do is glide. And many of us are busy like the sparrows or the hummingbird. In Telugu we say, kshanam తీరిక లేదు, దమ్ముడి ఆదాయం లేదు. Not a second to spare and nothing fruitful ever gained. Then there are those of us who are like the owl or the crane. While flapping our world of karma, sometimes there is some antarmukhata, glide, but again, not very confident, come back. But where the eagles dare, they alone can glide. Finish the field of karma implicitly so that you reach to a height from where you can only start gliding. Hundreds of kilometers just glide. So now we have to evaluate ourselves. Where am I? Am I in the sparrow or a hummingbird level? Or a crane or a owl level? Or at an eagle's level? Example has a limitation. Sparrow is born as a sparrow, not as an eagle. So it can only do as a sparrow. Don't limit yourself with the limitation of the example. It is to highlight the amount of intensity that which we give, where we are constantly engaged in karma, wherein we think it is the only way, but it is not the intelligent way. One of our Mahatmas used to say, अंदर राम बाहर काम जिंदगी भर आराम. अंदर राम, where am I centered? That matters. Otherwise, this purpose of life is never a focal point. When do we come to this point? After we have crossed 65, 75, then suddenly realize I have been engaged, now let me do spirituality. At least now they have woken up, fine. But that mind which has been engaged, engrossed for 65, 75 years in the world outside, to undo it in whatever last few years that are left, do you think it is going to be easy? Because whole life long, all that we have done is wound ourselves up. I tell them, you are too early for next life. Therefore, BLNL, better luck next life. At least we have a hope next life hai. Because at that age, what becomes the criteria? Vruddho yapi grahitva dandam tadapi na munchati asha pindam. Where am I busy at that age? बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः, तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीसक्तः, वृद्धस्तावत् चिंतासक्तः. All kinds of chinta. Every joint is a musical joint. It creaks, it cracks, it makes sounds. All the indriyas have lost their vitality. Cannot see properly, cannot hear properly, cannot digest properly, cannot hear. Everything is in a shithila avastha. And to bring that which is almost about to fall apart to a focal point, how much more difficult is it going to be? I think it was the Royal Nepal Airlines. One of the most scariest airlines that I have ever travelled in. On the wing, for wherever that repair had to be done, they have put a duct tape. And as it was gearing up for the run-up, every nut and bolt on that vehicle was rattling, making sound. I am never scared of traveling, but that one day I had my heart in my hand. ये उड़ेगा? अगर उड़ भी गया, उतरेगा क्या? And you could see every part completely trembling. Now imagine where every limb is almost disjoint. You have to pool all of it together to one focal point, to bring that mind which has been corrupted, laden with so much of the experience of the past, regrets that the opportunities were not properly utilized, to consolidate that mind, to bring it to one focal point, that antakarana, and then to take off. Because that antakarana is connected with so many layers of things around, it will never take off. Therefore, in our Gurukula system of education, the first and foremost that was taught, connect yourself to the within, create that environment, then develop the skills to express your vasanas, finish purge by the time you reach 50. That is where you have to take vanaprastha. You are ready to quit and find that solace in solitude, and then focus on the higher. अब 50 में तो हमारी जवानी शुरू होती है. जवानी में दीवानी शुरू होती है. Where is time for the actual purpose of life? So to highlight that, the mantra says, repeat after me. Iha cheda veditha satyamasti na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha pretyasman lokat amrita bhavanti iti dvitiya khandaha. This is the second chapter, end of the second chapter. Iha chet aveditha satyam asti na chet iha avedin mahati vinashtihi. How clear and how emphatic can the scripture be? If this is not realized as stated in the earlier mantra, if this is not realized here in this life now, then mahati vinashti. The earlier Upanishad we saw, it said, Sahi Atmaha. Such one who has not utilized this human life for this moksha karana, they are the actual Atmaha. Atmaha, those who have committed Atmahatya. They have missed their beautiful golden opportunity. Why? The only truth that has to be realized is this self within. Iha chet avedita, the one who here and now realizes this very life. Because that is the only purpose. Nothing else is the main priority. What do? Everything else becomes the priority. This becomes based on convenience. Agar time mile to. if everything comfortably aligns. There we become philosophical. There has to be Bhagavan's grace for that, Swamiji. The ordinary put the effort in Vyavahara and leave sadhana to Bhagavan. The wise put the effort in sadhana and leave the Vyavahara to Bhagavan. Isn't that what Bhagavan Krishna has said? Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami ma shucha. Don't worry, ma shucha. Sarva dharman, sarvan anyan dharman tyaktva. All the other acquired dharma other than swadharma. Here swadharma again can be taken into two different depths of meaning. One, swadharma meaning your responsibilities. Swadharma can mean that. But if you take it a little deeper, swasya dharma, the actual nature of yours. Anything that which is other than this nature of the self, sarvam, mercilessly all of them, tyaktva, give up. Those who try give up, we have sympathies for them. Ayyo, paapam. They have given up all that life and become a renunciate. Who has to sympathize with who? I have told you this earlier. When I first became a brahmachari in Chinmaya Mission, I was barely 19. So when people would see me in buses or trains or general casual conversation, first question that they would ask, especially in Andhra area, at that time it was United Andhra. I think in my head it is still United only. It is with great difficulty that I can recognize it that it is split. So they would say, Babu, ye diksha idi. What diksha is this? Because you have Ayyappa diksha, this diksha, that diksha, 41-day diksha, right? So first I used to take a lot of time explaining all of this. Then I came to, I also wised up. Then I used to say, this, yours is a temporary diksha, mine is a permanent diksha. This is 41 days. This is for a lifelong. Their immediate reaction, Ayyo Papa, emaindi? What happened? Why did you take to this path? Did you fail in exams? Did you have a quarrel with your parents? Did you fail in business? Appulevana. Therefore you ran away. And the last one is the most hilarious one. And a love failure. Because this path is assumed is for those that are losers. Those who take to the path of spirituality are because they have been tormented by life, they cannot face life, therefore they have taken to spirituality. And that is the generic common man's idea. Spirituality is meant for them. Why don't you go to satsangs? Why don't you understand Bhagavad Gita? The bold statement that you hear from the world is, I have not yet become despondent to go to spirituality. I still have కసి ఉంది, తీర్చుకుంటాను. Spirituality is not for those that are Atma balahinena na labhyaha. Upanishad says it. That this Atma Tattva is not for that person who is a failure, who is a loser, who is a no good fellow. Mundaka Upanishad says, Parikshalokan karmachitan, go experiment with the world. Experiment intensely. Not just a superficial experiment. Experiment intensely. Engross yourself and embrace it. Come to the crux of it. Did you find that which you are seeking in that world of experience? If you are intelligent, you should come to the conclusion that that which I am seeking, that which I am after, cannot be given by the world outside. Hence, therefore, with clarity, I am now with the absoluteness of understanding that the world cannot give me that which I am seeking. I neither hate it, I neither like it. It's just a field of experience. Spirituality is not because you have a jugupsa towards the world. It is because of the understanding that after squeezing out the entire field of experience, that which I am seeking, not even an ounce of it, not even a drop of it can be found there. Now, the one who has that kind of a clarity about the world and worldly experiences never gets distracted by it. That clarity brings in vairagya towards that world. Vairagya not because I want to run away from that world. It's from understanding that the world cannot give me that which I am seeking. I am sure you all had ganne ka juice, sugarcane juice. So when you stand at that stall, that fellow takes out that sugarcane, cleans it up, pushes it in, folds it, puts a lemon piece and a ginger piece, and then again pushes it in. 6-7 times he runs it through. When that is thrown away, the pulp, the remain is thrown away, my observation, there are cows. If you give a sugar cane, the cow will amazingly enjoy to chew on it. This pulp which has been thrown away, even the cow would not touch it. Why? अब इसमें बचा क्या है खाने के लिए? To that pulp which is left behind, the cow has absolute vairagya towards it. Why? Because it knows it doesn't, there is no rasa in it anymore. Now, for the one that has chewed the entire world of experiences, in Gurudev's biographical movie, On the Quest, you've seen it, right? There is a youngster that comes and asks Swamiji, why did you choose this path? And he is chewing on gum. the chewing gum. So Gurudev immediately personalizes the message to him and says, how long will you chew this gum? As long as it has taste in it. After that, what do? You spit it out. So he looks straight into his eyes and says, therefore I have spit out the word, knowing that there is no rasa in it. If we don't come to that point of conclusion, not out of disgust, not out of hatred, not out of lachari, it is out of clear understanding that that which I am seeking, that which I am after, cannot be found in this field of experience in any permutation and combination. Therefore, that world doesn't interest me anymore. है तो है, नहीं है तो नहीं है. Am I getting across? When the vairagya becomes the natural state of your disposition, the world does not become a distraction. World of things, world of beings, world of experiences, world of time, world of space. None of this is a distraction anymore. But the field of karma, have we lived with that intensity? The whatever is the kama, the vasana, that which I have to fulfill, have I lived it with that intensity that I have fulfilled it, but come out with the experience of understanding? भाई करना पड़ा तो किया, पर इसमें वो सुख जो मैं ढूंढ रहा हूं वो मिलेगा नहीं, है नहीं तो मिलेगा कहां से? Then undistracted you sit on the path of sadhana, completely dedicated, without reprioritizing it for anything else in the world. In vyavahara, whatever is your prarabdha vashat, whatever is the karma, that karma has to be fulfilled, you keep fulfilling. But then that is not the priority. Am I getting across? Like, this may be a bad example, like when we go to the wedding, those two poor fellows are sitting there for hours together. That should have been the priority, the focal point. What is our priority there? Gossip. खाना मिले ना मिले बात की बात. Gossip. Everybody is busy gossiping. Therefore, when the muhurta actually arrives, the Panditji has to scream, Muhurta savadhana, Sulagna savadhana, Sumuhurta savadhana. And then say, Gatti melam. All other nonsense that you have been engaged in, stop. For that which you have come, this is the time for it. Now please pay attention. Now at least please pay attention. Bless these two poor fellows so that they have a long, fulfilling married life. Engaged in all that which is non-priority, that which is priority, that is which is the pramukha, becomes secondary or even tertiary. once a year, Swamiji, I go to this camp, spiritual camp, for 8 days. अब बाकी दिन see, when a doctor prescribes medicine, the whole dosage is given to you. When will you find health? When you open all the package of medicine and pop it in one day. रोज रोज कौन खाएगा? अगर भूल गया तो pop everything one day. Net effectiveness at the end of 6th day or 7th day, I had to finish three doses every day. I had to finish it. On day 1, I finished it. You will also be finished. When will you find health? When there is consistency, regularity, constantly, that has to be the priority. Whatever be it, you have to put a reminder so that at that particular time, at that particular prescribed environment, you need to take that medicine. When the child is young, the parents, they keep a watch. At that particular time, the mother or father, whoever is there, medicine veskunnava. And after 15 minutes, they'll reconfirm. Cheppinappudu veskunnava, did you take the medicine at that time when I had asked you to take? Some reminders to maintain that consistency. That should become the priority. Life and the surrounding of happenings will not change. My priority can change. While I am executing all of that, make that secondary, make this primary. If this shift is not done, if this prioritization is not looked into, mahati vinashtihi. So important is this that Adi Shankaracharya ji in Viveka Chudamani starts it with these very shlokas. Durlabham trayam eva etat manushyatvam mumukshutvam Mahapurusha samshayah. We have Manushyatvam. In the name of spirituality, we are trying to gather feathers. And nowadays, with the selfies and photos, every Mahatma that is there on the planet of Earth, you have gone there, taken blessing, taken photo, taken Instagram uploads, Facebook uploads, Twitter uploads. I met so many Mahatmas. Tatakim, tatakim, katakim, tatakim. So what? What is the purpose? Having gotten a human life, have I experimented with life to find that which I am seeking? Having the clarity that that which I am seeking is not there in the world outside, my focus has changed. The karma outside will keep happening. The moment this attitude changes, there is no pressure taken. There is no anxiety taken. There is no stress levels. It's a happening which I am doing it at the secondary level. What should be the priority? The priority is that am I aligned and rooted in the center here? Rest of it bakwas. Iha cheda vedita satyam asti. That is when we find that truth. As I said the earlier day, when we talked about yasya matam, tasya amatam, ours is not a path of faith. Ours is the path of truth. And this is the truth. Everybody, if you do puja regularly, you chant Purusha Suktam. And in Purusha Suktam, this sentence gets repeated twice. Panthaha na anya. That there is no other way around. This is the only way. Nanyah pantha vidyate yanaya. Na anyah pantha vidyate. That clarity and that assessment that this is the path and I have to now prioritize it as my pramukha, the primary focus. Just like when the child is born, whatever the mother is doing, what becomes the primary focus? Whether you are in the kitchen, whether you are in the bathroom, whether you have just stepped out to buy few vegetables, whether you are up drying the clothes, whatever you are engaged in, your one drishti is constantly on the child. Similarly, one drishti constantly on sadhana must be there. That cannot be bargained. This has to be non-negotiable. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha pretya asman lokan amrita bhavanti. This particular sentence of this mantra has two meanings. One, if this becomes or when this becomes the priority, the only priority, then kramena you reach to that moksha. Pretya asman lokat amrita bhavanti. Having given up this mortal form, you reach to the Brahma Loka and then finally merge into that Brahman. This is called Krama Mukti. Usually we take birth when there is good amount of papa, good amount of punya. Almost say 50-50. Then you are born again and again and again in a human birth. When you have done enough punya, there is no reminiscence enough of papa to be born again. अब उसका क्या करें? They are now accommodated in Brahmaloka, where Brahmaji has 4 heads. With one head he is taking care of the upper world. With one head he is taking care of the lower world. With one head he is taking care of this world. There is still one head left. With that one head, what is he doing? In Brahmaloka, there is constant satsanga. So somebody asked me, what are the timings? Constant satsanga, 24/7. Continuously. So I tell all the satsangis, do you want to reprioritize it here with 1 hour dose? Or get stuck in the Brahmaloka for 24 hours Not 24 hours of the human life, 24 hours of Brahmaji. Look, kar lo baat. Even after having reached the upper worlds, one small mistake, you come back to this recycling process. Even having reached there, you still can fall. What are the first stories of the initial Upodghata of Bhagavatam? Sanat Kumaras wanted to see Bhagavan Vishnu. There were the newly appointed sentinels at Vaikuntha. Their names were Jaya and Vijaya. They inadvertently stopped Sanat Kumaras. Sanat Kumaras had the diplomatic entry. The diplomatic visas, they don't need to be stopped anywhere. Their baggages are not checked, they are just allowed. I said, how can you be so ignorant being in Vaikuntha? This ignorance is okay in Bhuloka. In Vaikuntha, this is a blemish unpardonable. Rakshaso bhava. For eternity be Rakshasa. Then poor fellow, the Vishnu comes, pleads on behalf of Jaya Vijaya and reduces the sentence, the punishment of eternity to 3 lives. गिरेगी नहीं वहां से. So this is Krama Mukti. The other is Jivan Mukti. Realizing it here and now, once and for all, good, done. Amrita Bhavanti. But here and now has a little caveat. What is it? As long as this body, mind and intellect persists because of its prarabdha, there is a very insignificant, but there is still a layer of ahankara still maintained. Otherwise, to execute through this body, mind and intellect becomes virtually impossible. Therefore, at the time when they are leaving this body, they consolidate themselves, come to that one focal point, merge, and then drop the body. You have read Mahabharata? All the stalwarts, as soon as Dronacharya heard Ashwathama hataha, Kunjaraha, he didn't hear. What did he do? Sanyasta sarvan. He gave up all his astra shastra, ayudha, the chariot, right there on the battlefield. Imagine, it is a battlefield. Everybody is running in all directions. Arrows, spears, chariots running all over the place. Right there, he sits, achamya. He purifies, closes his eyes, withdraws his mind and intellect from this body, merges that mind and intellect into the Avyakrita, and then completely gives up this and reaches to the higher at will. When an ordinary individual dies, in these scriptures when they mention Panchatvam Gataha, all the 5 elements now are merged back into their nascent values. That is when the burning happens, right? But when a Mahatma leaves, they say Panchatvam Vilinaha. They consciously merge each element into its nascent form, disidentify and merge into the Almighty. Am I getting across? This is called Videha Mukti. That though realized, there is still an iota of this ahankara. That iota of ahankara is given up at that last moment. Pretya asman lokat amrita bhavanti. Are we ready for that moment? That when I leave this body, I have absolutely no cares for the worldliness. I am ready to be seated, bid farewell to this world and merge in that Almighty. The other day, I don't know where, casual talking. Swamiji, I am prepared for spirituality. A song came to my mind. When Yama comes and says, Chalo dildar chalo, chand ke paar chalo. Are you ready to say, Hum bhi taiyar chalo? I am ready to quit. Caught up in the non-priorities, making it as a priority, we have troubled our own lives to a mess. At least now, wake up to reprioritize that which should be the only priority. The rest of it can keep happening. You reprioritize yourself and realign to turn within. We'll stop here. Continue it. Today is what, Friday? So we'll continue the last chapter next week, Monday onwards. Tomorrow and day after we have the meditation class. So please participate. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah.